Good day, students. Today I'm going to go over the directions for the Immigration Journal. There's two parts to this project. Part one is the procedure. You need to do part one first. The more work that you do in part one, the easier part two will be. So you're going to discover what it's like for immigrants coming to America in the early 20th century. So what you're going to do is you're going to go through part one, and then you're going to create an alter ego and then do the prompts during part two. So under part one, you're going to go through and select and read about this young man's journey through Ellis Island. As you read about Seymour's journey, it's very similar to what I want you to write. It's going to talk about where he's from, why he came, his journey across the Atlantic, what happened when he got to Ellis Island, his life in New York City, and the story about how he became famous. That's going to be the overall arch of what I want you to do. You're going to create a product that's very similar to that. The next part is going to be very important. It's research your family history. So as you go to this link, you're going to see passenger search up here in the top right. Go ahead and select passenger search. What you're going to do is do not search your first name or initial, but you can search your last name. Some of you that have very common last names, it's going to be a little bit difficult. Maybe you can look up your mom's maiden name or one of your grandparents' last name. I'm going to look up my grandfather's last name. And when you do this, it's going to pop up some information. So it has individuals' names, the year they arrived, their last place of birth or residence, and the ship name they came over on. That is important information. So let's say that I want to do mine on Joseph Bechler. Well, I will take his name right here, come back and write his name in. But do keep in mind, you do not have to pick a certain name. You can make up any name you want to, as long as this individual is a new immigrant. Please look at the board over there on the wall with the door, and you can see what a new immigrant is. And they're going to put the country of origin. The problem is this place doesn't exist anymore. Because oftentimes as they're coming through Ellis Island, if they couldn't spell the name, they would just make one up. Well, let's go ahead and Google it and see what happens. Google is going to be a very important tool throughout this entire project. So if I Google it, I will see what comes up. Absolutely nothing. So what I can do is I can search the last name and see where other people came from. Same last name, Germany. So guess what? I can put the country of origin right here, Germany. So I can look up problems. Again, Google's going to be a good friend. Problems in Germany during 1908. And I can see what was going on. Timeline of German history. When did the German Empire fall? But this Britannica is going to help you out, very important, because it's going to give you overarching problems that was happening. So you can read this information, and as you read this information, you can start developing your narrative. You can copy and paste some of this information back over to the journal. The name of the ship you'll also find right here. So let's say I Control-C copy, Control-V, the Crewland, and there's a picture of the ship. I can copy and paste in any one of these images of the Crewland into my immigrant's journal. Now, the picture of the ship, the class is going to be a little bit more difficult. You can get that going through the next parts. So part 3 right here, you're going to select it, click on it, and it's going to be an interactive tour of what Ellis Island was like. The next one is going to be a webcast, which is a virtual field trip. That's why it was important to bring your headphones. Once you complete that, you can go to the History channel, whose topic is Ellis Island, and you can watch the videos. You can gain information. Again, the more information you gain right now, the easier it's going to be. You can look at the stories that are on this site. The possibilities are endless. And then once you complete all part of 4 of these, this should take an entire day of class to do. You're going to go through, maybe Friday, you begin working on part 2, which is the Immigration Journal. For my honors class, You are expected to write 5 paragraphs. For second and third block, you're going to write 3 paragraphs. So these different entries, first block is 5 paragraphs. Second and third is 3 paragraphs. And make sure you are answering these questions. Why are you moving to America? What expectations? And you should be able to do that in the 3 to 5 paragraphs. And each paragraph is 4 to 6 well-constructed sentences. And once you answer all these questions, like I said, the more research you do, the easier this is going to be. You can go and Google something called the Hemingway app. The Hemingway app is very similar. See, I can't spell. Is very similar to Grammarly, except it's not going to be popping up in your system. And as you finish your journal, you can copy and paste it over. It's going to take some words that you could take out. If you use the same adjective over and over and over, it's going to give you some synonyms you can use. It's just a great tool that you can use in both English, history, and all your classes. If you have any questions, please email me. Second block, don't be afraid to ask Ms. Heimbach. Again, if you have any questions, please email me. Please finish this project in this document. That way I can check on it while I'm away. Any additional references that you use for this project, just copy the link and put it down right here. Good luck. If you have any questions, please do not hesitate to ask.